Tim always gotta act like he's doing something behind the scenes. He ain't really doing nothing.
Something of importance.
Like his job is so detailed. Like, yeah, I'm tweaking the numbers
I gotta bring up the algorithms and the dialogue.
All right.
Put some glasses on, Tim. So make it really look like you smart and doing stuff behind the chair. Get a big chair that goes way up there.
We're live.
Yeah,
put a
bow tie on.
We live. This is called banter.
We don't need no banter.
Put a bow tie on, some glasses.
No banter tonight.
Put a bow tie on and some glasses. Ain't right. And let your hair grow out a little bit. I like that. We see, most smart boys let their hair grow.
Had a receding hairline.
You see a hairline, yeah. Let that happen.
So now you want me to
look like John Sally did on. Look like John Sally did on Bad Boys. Like I'm telling you. All right, welcome to Disappointing Loss. We had Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. You got Ephraim, Ethan, Tim, and Wayne. You got the Four Horsemen tonight. It was a big game. We had a clash of at the time the two top seeded teams, the top in the East and the top in the West. And the Sixers went in. They got off to a good start, and they couldn't maintain, which we've heard over and over again this season. And but Phoenix is the best team in the league. And the Sixers gave it a shot and sent them home. So now we're gonna get into a little bit of the details of it. Me personally, I feel as though my two culprits tonight was James Harden and Doc Rivers. But what's y'all spend on the game?
I told y'all. I don't want to say this is. I don't want to bash my team. Listen, we played good. There's some things we really got to tighten up. Bede is not the problem. Let's start there. Bede did everything he can to try to win this game. To me, I felt like Maxey got put in a position where he was forced to shoot the ball more than I would like, and he was forced to put up a lot of shots, some tough shots, because maybe it was the boy that we didn't draft by the name of Malik Bridges, but for some reason, Harden was strapped up tonight. Bridges did. And this is my problem with Harden. When he sees a weak defender in front of him, he goes. If you notice, when Shaman was in front of him, he abused him. But when Mikal got in front of me, he was hesitant. He passed the ball. He had open looks he didn't take. This is a big game. This is the number one seed in the whole NBA. Look good. Take the shots. He was very, very hesitant to shoot. And that put a lot of pressure on Maxey to shoot because he was getting the ball. If you know, he was getting the ball late in the shot clock. He had to run for some shots because it was just.
I thought you said if Maxey had more shots, he could score 25 to 30 points a game.
He could, but not four shots. Not four shots.
I don't think he had that many shots like that.
Yeah, he just was off. The ball was getting kicked to him late in the shot clock, and he was forced to put up shots. Not saying late like 3 seconds, but it was just like 6-5 seconds. So you got to do something with the ball. You pass somebody else, it's probably going to be a shot clock violation.
I mean, I saw that happen a couple times. I mean, I saw this game a little differently. I'm a Steph Curry fan, so I watch Golden State a lot. I see the Suns a lot since they play Golden State. This is what they do. Suns are a good team. They are a good team. Look what they shot. They shot 51% overall from the field. Devin Booker dropped 35 points and shot 60% from the field. Now, he normally don't shoot that well, but they're a good team. Chris Paul shot 60%.
Oh, he do against the Sixers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about his field goal percentage throughout the years, like 46, 47%.
You talking about Booker?
Yeah.
Booker killed the Sixers.
But tonight he shot 59%. Chris Paul shot 60%. Ayton shot 62. He normally shoots pretty high in general, Ayton. But they're a good team. I mean, it was. I think it was. They got a little home cooking to a couple of them calls late in the game, which I thought was a little suspect. Especially that Danny Green 3-point play they gave to Devin Booker. He was getting calls at will that he wanted to. Harden wasn't getting the calls, and this is the problem with Harden in the playoffs that I always was critical about Harden is that those calls that he get all throughout the season. Because now the referees, I can see starting to call it like they're going to call in the playoffs. This they start transitioning to playoff refereeing, and you ain't going to get on them calls. Even though a couple of them he probably should have got for real, but you ain't going to get on them calls late in the games and crucial moments, and he wasn't getting the shots. Maxey had spurts of playing well this game, which I liked. I wish he would have knocked down a couple of open shots that he had. But he had his opportunities. Harden, they was doubling Harden a lot coming out. He was swinging and getting it to Maxey. He had opportunities and at spurts he capitalized, and ultimately he didn't. That's why, to me, I'm not blaming the game on Maxey, but if Maxey would have shot what he has been shooting, let's say since Harden's been here, I think we'd have won this game. Be honest with you, I just think some of them shots,
even without Harden shooting.
Yeah, I think without Harden shooting. I mean, think about it.
We was hitting. It was a close game.
When he started splashing, we got down by 1. It was 101 to 100. Yeah. We right in the game, and then I think that's the possession Phoenix had it where Devin Booker got the 3-point play, and after that they never looked back. Harden started missing. Maxey started missing. B missed a couple Jones in the paint that we thought he should probably get. Yeah. Harden was missing all night, and that's where the game to me went south. But if Maxey was hitting them shots down the stretch that he has been hitting, I still think we win this game.
Yeah,
Tim.
I kind of agree with Ephraim a lot, even though he's saying all the points I was saying in our text board. But I'm just
no. That's not. Stop! Don't do that. Don't do that.
Everything I was saying, it sounds good. So I'm not even hating on you.
Okay, go ahead.
Sound real good.
Go ahead. You agreeing with me? Agreeing with you, huh? Okay.
Yeah, but no, in all seriousness, I need more from James Harden. This is why we brought him in. We brought him in here to be that next superstar. Joel did everything he could possibly could do to win this game for us. Even he went out, tweaked his ankle, came back, and still balled for us. No problems, except for maybe he could have knocked down more than free throws because he was like 3 for 7 in the first half. But outside of that, Embiid played great. I do agree with you, Max. He struggled the first half, but he got it cooking. I think he scored like 10 points in the third quarter. He was cooking for us. He was hitting baskets. He came up. Tobias got hot for like 2 minutes where he was balling, and I was like, okay. I mean, first half, Tobias played real well. I'm not going to take nothing away from him. So Toby played well, and I was like, okay, maybe we got something here. But then he turned back into Pumpkin Toby. So, but he did. He didn't. I needed more clutch.
Okay, I'm gonna wait till you finish, and I'm gonna address the point.
The clutch. I need Toby to be Kobe, and he wasn't. But what I will say, because I know y'all gonna rip.
Okay, Wayne. Is that your burner account? Is Jamal Oliver your burner account? Somebody, is that Wayne's burner account?
That gotta rip.
That gotta be Wayne.
I know y'all gonna rip Doc.
Oh no. Oh, I agree with him though.
That gotta be
Wayne's burner account. Finish your point.
I know y'all gonna rip Doc, but I think Doc did some good things in this game.
Doc stunk tonight.
No, he did.
He stunk.
All right, tell me what did
he do wrong? Our bench was rolling. What did he put Bede and Harden back in the game way too early. Our bench was killing their bench. That's where we had Toby was cooking. And Doc, for whatever reason, now all of a sudden he wanted to feel like, oh, I got to get my start. Remember all them times when we felt like he waited too late to put Bede and Harden back in? Toby was actually cooking, and Doc yanked them out and put Bede and Harden back in, and that's when Phoenix made the run back. And also, why was Tyrese Maxey sticking Booker in the beginning of the game? Booker got like his first 5 shots on Maxey's head.
But it was switches. No,
it wasn't switches. No, it was not switches. It was not switches. When you get a chance, go back and watch that game. Go, put on demand and watch that game. Maxey was matched up against Booker from the beginning of that game.
On. If you watch the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Booker was guard Maxey. So if it was quick transitions and stuff like that, you don't got time to switch players. You don't have time to run and find your player all the time. If you watch, that's what was happening. Booker was guard. It was some switches, but Booker was guarding Maxey on defense. So during transition basket, you don't got time to run all across the court to try to switch to another player.
Nope.
Especially if
not buying it. Because we was controlling the rebounds.
I said that out because that's
we were controlling the rebounds. They was not killing us on a fast break like that. We was actually being able to get back.
That's because we was actually getting back.
We were actually able to get back and have half-court sets. Maxey was lined up against Booker this game to start off. And me and Tim was talking about this the other night, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's no way you don't put Thibault on him from the jump. Thibault should have been the matchup on him. I don't know what Doc was. Doc had a brain fart all the way.
Got in foul trouble. Thibault picked up.
He wasn't in foul trouble the first 5 possessions when Maxey was getting cooked by Booker.
Hold on. Did y'all watch the game? Did y'all see how many layups? Y'all see how many layups Thibault was missing?
Yeah,
I don't care about that. I'm talking about on defense.
You still need to score. This is my problem with Thibault. You still need to score.
But that has nothing to do with Doc putting Maxey on Booker. That's what Thibel's job is. Thibel got one job.
Yeah,
No, he doesn't.
mean, I can't remember if it was the switch or not that got him, but I mean, would he have helped better than Maxey? Probably so, but I think that sometimes you just get cooking. I mean, maybe Maxey being on him got him cooking, and then anybody after that was just collateral damage because Danny tried to stick him, Danny got cooked. Thibault did a couple good plays, but he still scored on Thibault. Like he was just balling. Like
the first shot Book missed was when Thibault was on him.
I know what I'm saying. I mean, he made him his shot, but he also clapped on Thibault a couple times. So I mean, he just wasn't. I mean, because he missed the shot on Maxey. Maxey had a play where he kind of got his hand on the ball a little bit. So I mean, it wasn't like he was just in his bag. This bull's a superstar. Keep in mind, we act like Booker ain't scored 72 points in a game. This dude is a scoring machine.
All I'm saying is, if you have a dude, the same way we used to talk about Ben. Remember we used to talk about Ben? If you're supposed to be the shutdown, lockdown defender, be on the best offensive player. Thibault should have been on, and it's the same way Doc used to do that with Ben. Thibault should have been the one on Booker. That's what your job is a shutdown defender.
No, I agree.
All right, listen. Okay, now you think if Thibault's job is to be a shutdown defender, he got one job, right? What's Harden's job? Because he don't play D.
And that's why I blame Harden
because he scored the ball, not go 2 for 11 from the field.
Yeah, I agree.
18%. Yeah,
I agree. That's why I said him and Doc.
That's what I was talking about earlier. With most of them shots he missed outside of his threes, with shots he was trying to draw a foul, and he wasn't giving it to him. This is what happens in the playoffs with Harden. A lot of times, while his teams have suffered because they stop calling them calls, even if you get in some contact. Even if some of it's legit, they stop calling them John. So now you got to play smart and put yourself in a position where you're not leaving the referee to decide your fate. This is what irritates me about Harden. Like you've been in the league long enough to know that at a certain point in time, you cannot leave the referee to decide your fate. But he keeps doing it. And that's what's kind of irritating. You cannot be 18% in a game against Phoenix and still think we're going to win. I mean, the encouraging thing for me was that we was in that game in Phoenix. This wasn't a home Sixers game and nothing like that. We was in that game to the very end until about the 3-minute mark, and that's when the game kind of changed. You could see when it was like 2 minutes left, the game was over. They had like a 10 or 12 point lead.
Yeah, that's funny. Somebody mentioned the same point, Wayne, that they said the Suns announcer was saying Doc made a mistake by bringing Joe and Harden back because the Sixers were on a run.
I agree with that too. I agree with that. I said
I think he tried to counter the moves though. Didn't they bring in their
but it wasn't a move
to counter?
But he didn't. No, that's what I'm saying. The bench was still in. I think, and I did watch the Phoenix broadcast too. And what they were saying, and I was saying the same thing when it was happening. What they were saying is Doc called himself outsmarting it, whereas though it was like the Sixers is up some. We was up 15, and he was like, I'm bringing in the starters like to put the hammer down on them. But you don't need to do that if you got your starters was dominating. If your bench, who has been struggling, is now handling somebody else's bench, let it ride out and let your starters get their rest.
But it's kind of a catch-22 because if you let's say they made a small little run, then they're gonna blame Doc is you left the bench in too long.
Then do it when they make the run. Don't do it when you up 15 and Toby cooking.
But my thing is, and that's a good point, Tim. But my thing is, it ain't like Toby not a starter. I think Toby and who else was in the game I think it was another starter in the game.
Maxey might have still been in the game too. Yeah, it might have been Toby.
So it's not like you had an all bench lineup in the Jones. So sometimes you do got to realize when you're cooking. And this is personally why I said I think Thibault. I mean, if anybody's starter should come off the bench, to me it should be Toby. I think he gets up way more shots. The offense runs a little bit more through him, and they could give him an opportunity to get his rhythm in the game and get the cooking. If you're going to send one of the starters to the bench. But I do like how he is doing it now, though, where he takes Maxey and Toby out earlier, and then when B and Harden sit, then he bring them back in the game. I do like that, and I do agree he should have kept that lineup in. Probably could have won the game.
I think he's still giving Harden and B too many minutes. At least Harden.
He's giving Danny Green too many minutes. Danny Green.
Thank you.
Danny Green. I said
this to not explain why I believe Danny Green got all the minutes.
Why?
Because. Well, let's jump to that because first of all, Harden got too many minutes. 39, 40 minutes is if he's injured, he got bad hamstring, whatever, it's too many minutes.
That is a lot.
If you look at our bench, right? Milton can't guard nobody, and Yang can't guard nobody. Danny is the better wing defender out of them. How much you want to say he's not? The Suns, he's the better wing defender for Booker, for Chris Paul, and for Bridges than anybody else on that bench. As much as y'all want to, hate on Danny Green, he's actually a pretty good defender. He got a lot of deflections, got some tips, got some steals. He's a way better defender than Wayne. I know you want to hate
You can
on
say
him,
way better defender, but I think that
he is.
I think Shake puts more pressure on the defense in transition and everything else that he have to play deep. Danny Green is not existent on the offense, and Danny Green is flat-footed. He can't Shake and at least move around. Danny Green is no way he should ever get more than 20 minutes. There's no way he should get 20 minutes a game right now the way he plays.
He was forced into that because of the Phoenix, the matchups. The matchups was tough. Like Niang couldn't get that many minutes because they were setting picks and strings. He can't run around them and stick Booker. Man, he can't run around them.
Was Thibault hurt? Why was Thibault not brought back in the game?
He was in foul trouble.
Yeah, okay. He had 4 fouls, but I didn't see him down the whole stretch of the fourth quarter. When we got the game tight again, he's your best defender. Why is he not back in the game? He has 4 fouls.
He had more faith in Danny Green hitting the 3 than he had at Thibault.
And that's why I blame Doc. Thibault is your defensive stop.
It's the players he's working with. It comes to a certain point where you're just not as talented. Listen, we play good, we're just not as talented as Phoenix right now.
So you telling me that Thibault shouldn't have been in the game instead of Danny Green down the stretch? Thibault is your best defender other than Embiid. Thibault is hands down your best defender, your best perimeter defender, and you're telling me you don't put him back in the game, but you leave Danny out.
When he got cooked. What did he was fouling every time? What did he do this game? What did he do? He was getting cooked.
He played better than Danny.
He was getting cooked.
Thibault didn't shoot that
3 points.
Yeah, he got, like he said, he had
with 3 points.
He only took what? How many shots he take? He only took one shot.
He got fouled a couple times. He got fouled. He only missed one shot.
They was all layups.
No, he missed one shot. He missed one shot and he hit 3 out of 4 field goals.
The N-ones wasn't counted as a shot, but he missed like 2 to 3 N-ones. Am I right or am I right?
You saying about him missing? He got fouled. What are you talking about?
Layups. He's like Covington. He's the Covington with his team, man. He can't lay the ball up.
Well, guess what? He only shot 4 free throws. So if anything, the 2 and 1s you said he missed. Then he missed 2 and 1s. So he missed 2 shots when he got fouled.
Yes, he missed 2 and 1s. Yes, he did.
And he made 3 out. But according to the stats, he only missed 1 shot. And when you're fouled, that's why they called the foul. They didn't even want to call the foul. They was trying to let it go till they realized that the foul caused him to miss.
I mean, it's a lot you could to me, I think it's the issues, we kind of touched on earlier was the reason why we lost. Harden stunk from at least from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah, you 2 for 11, you stunk. He was 2 for 11. That was less than 20% shooting. I
want him to take more than 11 shots, though. He got to take more than 11 shots.
He got to the free throw line 8 times, so that was 4.
But he was 2 for 5 from 3, and he was 2 for 4 from 3 into that last one down the stretch. He wasn't even shooting the 3. He kept trying to run in and get the foul calls, like y'all said. That's irksome, bro. Like, come on, shoot the ball from outside then for all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got people panicking a little bit. Sergeant Bass said this team was a second round exit. I'm hearing a lot of people saying that Doc need to be fired if we get bounced early. Keep in mind, like I think Ethan said, or somebody said, this is the number 1 team in the NBA, bro. This team has been running through teams they done beat games without Booker. They done beat teams without Chris Paul. Remember, Chris Paul was gone for about a month, and they still maintain that number 1 seed, still beat teams, other top seeds like Memphis, like Golden State. They now us. Like they are a complete team, top to bottom. The only way we beat them is we going to need performances from Harden, like a 24-point and Maxey to give you 24, 25, not 17 or 14 by Harden, 18 by Maxey, 37 by B. That ain't going to cut it. That ain't going to cut it with this team. They too good. We're going to need to have at least one of the 2 top 3 players outside of B being Maxey and Harden to give you 24, 25.
But that's a shame because Toby played well.
If Shake Milton, if he gets 14 points, he got to give him more than 3 points coming off the bench too.
You mean 14 minutes?
Yeah, he played 14 minutes. You can't just 3 point. We know that you can score. He's proven that he can score in this league. I don't know.
I hear you, Sergeant Bass. I know I'm salty too. My fault, Tim. Go ahead.
I don't know.
My only problem with Harden is
who you talking about, Tim?
Shake Milton.
Oh, I agree with you.
I mean, he ain't had 18 minutes and did the same thing he did, 1 for 3.
Yeah, Shake had 14 minutes. I mean, I would have liked to see Shake get a little more minutes to see what he could do. He probably could have got 4 or 5 more minutes and limited Harden's minutes a little bit. My problem with Harden is, what seems to be carrying on through his career is good teams. He shrinks. It feels like he shrinks in the moment, like he did tonight, like he did against Brooklyn, like he did against Toronto. It just seems like teams, the better teams in the spotlight games, it seems like Harden shrinks in the moment.
This is the second time he did it with us.
That's what's concerning.
He did it against Brooklyn, and again he did it tonight.
Now you have B, so you don't have to be Batman. You should have better legs. Is he still playing too many minutes? If we think it's a hamstring thing or an injury thing or something like that, limit his minutes a little bit. Or if you don't want to beat him up before the playoffs, limit his minutes. He shouldn't be playing 40 minutes a game. That's way too many minutes for Harden.
So, I mean, I honestly think that he looked like his legs was fresher in the last game. The last game against the Clippers, the Sixers came out and looked like they were fresh. This game,
when you hitting, you got more energy.
It wasn't even about when they hitting. They came out the game looking fresh. This game, he came out looking like the same plodding down the court hard. From the very beginning of the Clippers game, he came out looking like he had energy. This game, he came out
plodding. Had all his points in the first quarter.
It's funny though. Out of all of the games, because of this loss, we in fourth place right now.
And really, it sent us from first to fourth that fast.
But I'm not even mad.
Wow.
Because we'll be
because you don't want to play the net time. You scared
Tim still politics. Tim, come on, stop that little jump.
If the season was the end of the night, we play Chicago. You telling me you'd rather play the Nets than Chicago?
We'll see what it is. I'm not worried about all that right now because we still got games to play, and I don't want them going in with the mindset looking to play. Listen, like it's been said time and again, this was the best team in the NBA that we played against. We played them tough, and then we came up. Our second best player laid an egg. Our coach laid an egg. Because guess what? We could say we won about Danny. Remember, Danny was also the one that committed the fouls on Booker, the and one on Booker, and all that other stuff.
That foul was suspect, though.
And that it might have been. Guess what? Danny said it was a good call.
When he said that,
he did.
He was like, "Oh, did Tobias tell you that?"
No, he did. He did.
Danny said it was
like, "I got him." He did.
He owned it up. He said, "I got him."
First of all, you never own up to a call like that.
I know.
All I'm saying is,
that's why I need to go. That's why I need to go.
Thank you, Tim. You doing? Who does that? Who said, yeah, that's right. It's on me late in the game. No, dumb. You say that's a bad call, so he won't call it again.
And wait, I gotta say something real quick too. I feel like Danny Green and Harden don't get along. It seemed like they all, from time to time, it seemed like they had words with each other. In my opinion, like it was like one play in the corner. Harden had it, and Danny was trying to get in his corner, and Harden was like trying to do the dribble, and it was like they were just too close to each other, and it looked like Harden was saying, "Like, go, you should go through," and Danny looking like, "This is my spot," and I've seen that a couple times from them.
I got a theory. I don't know. Harden, at one point, I think it was the second quarter, Harden dribbled the clock away. If y'all noticed, and it was like a turnover, right? Mm-hmm. But after that, he was very passive and passed the ball out. Remember, Doc said he wants Harden to swing the ball more. Yeah, is that kind of messing up his head and his game a little bit?
But we saying you want him to, but he did swing the ball more. I mean, Maxey had more shot attempts than he did.
That's my question. That's not his style.
I mean, it could.
I would agree with you, except for the fact that he looks so stink shooting the shots that he shot. I'm not giving him that as an out
because he don't get a chance to get in the flow. He don't. You know what I mean? He don't get a chance to get into his game.
Unfortunately, Harden is. Go ahead.
He starts feeding B from the beginning. If we always start the game off getting B going, Harden comes in secondary. So him getting into the flow of the game is later. Is that a problem?
It could be. When you have a player who's used to playing his style of ball for so long, and now you're trying to get him to change at a moment's notice late in the season, it could be. But see, at the same time, I don't want to say that because I saw him do that earlier when he first got here, and the last game, actually the last two games against the Clippers and against the Lakers, where especially Maxey and all these other players were able to get into their groove. and he still got in his scoring group. So it was just an off night for him. I don't know if he wasn't feeling it because it did appear that he passed up on some shots he probably normally would take. Maybe sometimes you just ain't like my shot. I'm not feeling that. In warm-ups, it might not have been falling. I don't know.
You talking about Harden?
Yeah, he felt somebody.
Remember,
he hit early in the game. He just stepped back early.
Can he still be hurt? I mean,
he was shooting 2 for 4 from 3 up until that last fourth quarter. He ended 2 for 5. So to Ephraim's point that he's making, and I think Ethan alluded to it earlier too, or at least in the chat we was talking about. Remember that one play? It was like somebody swung the ball to Harden. He had a wide open 3-point shot,
before Harden,
and he flung it. I'm like, what was that? So I don't.
And I think maybe he's trying. Maybe got something to Ethan say too. Maybe he's trying to keep the ball moving. And in most cases, though, it's not a bad thing to keep the ball moving. I remember when would you go ahead?
Harden's not a catch and shoot shooter.
I'm not saying he's got to be a catch and shoot.
No, what I'm saying is that's probably why he passed the ball. That's not his,
Okay, that's okay.
Catch and shoot ain't Harden's game.
He got to kind of line it up with the dribble instead of
he need to do like Toby need to do, and they need to get that into their repertoire.
Jay Card, he said earlier, and I think he's referencing me talking about Phoenix being a good team. He said that's not the point. Suns are a good team, but no matter who we play, we have the same problems. I don't mind losing to good teams, but watching us lose to the same mistakes is frustrating. But I guess I'm saying that a good team makes you make those mistakes. It ain't like Phoenix not a good team because they score. They're a good team because they also play defense. They're a good team because they also got good coaching that's going to strategize. That's going to make you make some of the mistakes that cause you to lose games. This is not no anomaly here. They've been doing. What's their record? I don't even think they're nowhere near 20 losses yet on the season.
They already clinched the best record in the league already.
That's what I'm saying. This
they
team
don't even have to play no more, and they have the best record in the league going into the playoffs.
To Wayne's point, Monty before he left.
That was my coach.
He's showing that he's a great coach, built a great coaching staff, have built a great chemistry and team camaraderie over there where they are balling. He got blue chip players throughout the lineup. That's one thing. To Tim's point, Tim always mentions that these blue chippers are vitally important to you separating you from just what we saw with that in North Carolina when they played Saint whatever in the tournament. They was rolling this 15th seed. They was rolling, and North Carolina blue chip players showed up. 20-point win for North Carolina. Them blue chippers mean something, man. They mean something. Them Fiables of the world and all them dudes we try to get to be blue chippers. Yeah, he got good defense and all that, but they got Mikal Bridges, who defense is just as good as Thibault, if not better, and offense is far better than Thibault. That's the blue chip player versus our McDonald's Happy Meal bull who we try to get in there. He a fake GI. You get the little fake GI Joe, man, the little toys you used to get. What was the fake GI Joe you used to get? No, I'm talking about Thibault. Not Max. Don't do that. I'm talking about Thibault. What was the fake GI Joe that used to get the GoBot? You get the Transformer, you get the GoBot. We got Thibault is the GoBot. He the GoBot.
We got to remember though that Harden, before he got traded to us, before Durant got hurt, they had the number 1 seed in the East. They was balling. He was the lead in that team without Kyrie. So I can't see that he just totally fell off. To me, he got to be injured. I can't hear you, Ethan.
He was playing his game the way he wanted to play his game.
That's true.
And listen, I'm not. I know some people in the comments section saying I'm not giving Harden an excuse because to me, I think that he should have been more aggressive with shooting. Like I said, the fact that he passed up that wide open 3 and that was telling to me. Like you passed that up, and then when he's going down there looking, and I do think a couple of them calls could have been made for him, but you're on the road, and when they don't make it, stop crying and get back. You can't sit there and keep arguing with the ref. Just get back and run back and play defense.
Now that bothers me. That was getting done on both sides. Leave the refs alone. My goodness. Every time you turn around, these dudes was at the ref ear.
That's Harden. That's what he do.
It was both sides, though. Both of them. Booker was, too. Booker, Harden, Chris Paul, leave the refs alone. The refs need to be in a bubble.
It ain't too many players, It ain't too many players.
Let them coach.
The only player I ever heard somebody say that don't cry to the refs in this modern game, somebody was talking about the bull Klay Thompson, and they said Klay don't hardly never complain. They say if you see him complaining to the refs, it's a shot. He said, "Girl, you never do. He just shoot the ball and keep going." But everybody be crying. It is getting irritating. I mean, you try to sway them for moments in a game where you feel you might need that call, so you try to put the little bug in the air, if you will. Sometimes it works. I watched the video with Chris Paul. Yelled at the official enough to get him to change the out of bounds call. Well, Chris Paul, and he was right. Chris Paul was right, but one ref was adamant about this, and he was arguing. The other ref came over and changed the John. So
let me say something about. I mean, I know somebody put up Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz is actually blue. Markelle Fultz right now be the best 6 man on his team right now.
I actually agree with that.
I know it was a situation where they had to trade him because what was going on. We had Ben Simmons and things like that. But you let too much stuff just go on with this organization. Starting with the Mikal Bridges trade. I know Markelle was hurt to handle Markelle. What happened with Ben Simmons not noticing that he was a mental case, but they got Harden for him. But so much went wrong with this organization. Trying to build this process, though, man. So now it feels like the process started running out. We panicking and it's a lot of mismatch stuff going on, trying to throw something together. Bench is terrible. So we'll see. I mean,
I see Ethan got a burner account too, Ethan. I see you got a burner account with Mr. Wing. That's your burner account now. Micah, I agree with you. Harden is trying to figure out the team.
Hey, Mr. Wing. No, Mr. Wing, don't take that. Don't take credit for my Chris Webber trade. I was calling him Webber Harden when we first talked about it for a reason. Mr. Wing, you're not going to take my credit.
That's your own burner. Stop arguing with yourself.
I'm patenting that name, Webber Harden.
Hey, Mike, I do agree with you though. Mike, Wayne, your mic is muted somehow. You muted, Wayne. I do agree with you. Harden is.
My bad. That's what I was talking about. I was trying to give Ethan props for the for the Webber Harden line.
It is a matter of him trying to fill the team out too, and this is why I wanted to trade earlier. I'm not gonna say regardless of who it was, but this was my concern. If you wait too late to make this trade, you have a small window to get on the same page. Most of the successful teams, their nucleus is the same for an extended period of time, for sometimes even years. Look at Milwaukee. They had this pretty much the same nucleus of teams. They added some players, role players and such, but their main nucleus stayed the same. And finally, they was able to break through. Now, they had some breaks and all that, but you always get breaks. Every team gets breaks. But most of the teams who win do have a nucleus that's been together for a while.
But guess what? First, I do want to, Danielle, that's what I'm telling y'all. Keep an eye on it. I mentioned about Kyrie. Kyrie is not resting 4 nights between games. He kind of had a little suspect game the last game he played.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Wayne. I agree.
But that's what I'm saying. Watch that now. And I'm not saying he's going to shoot like he just did that last game, but it's going to take some adjusting to going back to playing every couple nights instead of playing once or twice a week. That's a big difference.
Yeah, Tim was pom-pomming. Tim was like, "Yay, Kyrie! He wants to go for that night." And I told
they just played They literally just played the night before.
Exactly.
That's the point. That's the point. He was dropping 40 points. He was dropping 40 points a game, playing twice a week.
I agree with that.
A little tough, but another person that y'all not even clowning or giving them some criticism is Tobias Harris. The ball, he scored 15 points in the first half and scored 2 in the second half. That's not good for your starting forward.
Because Weber, Harden, and Maxey was taking all the shots.
If you scored 2 points in the second half, that's not a good game.
I'm not blaming Harden. I'm not blaming.
Harden didn't even take that many shots during the. He didn't score at all in the third.
Points in the second half.
Yeah,
you can't.
Harden did too, right? What did he score in the second half?
I don't know, but I'm just saying it's a lot of criticism go on. Tobias was rolling.
Toby shot 57% tonight. I'm not putting it on.
It doesn't matter. It's not as when you need. We need them.
He had 17, 2 assists, and shot 57%. I'm not putting it on him tonight.
And 90% of that all came in the first half.
And he had no turnovers.
And all I'm not putting it on. It all came in the first half.
And Doc Rivers took him out when he was cooking. Doc Rivers took him out when he was cooking.
No, because when you're playing a powerhouse team that can score at will, you got to keep scoring. And he did.
I agree with Wayne. We talked about that before. Who else did Doc take out that time they was cooking? Was that Maxey? No, we talked about this before when a player cooking. It seemed like Doc take him out. Thibault was cooking and got took out. Let him cook till he off.
I don't know. Sometimes coaches do that. I didn't see
a heat check.
That irritates me though. But I'm telling you, this is coaches in general. I done seen Curry do that to Curry. Curry be cooking first quarter, he'd drop 20 points, and Curry once it's in the game and he'd take him out. Sometimes I don't know why. Like they think they don't want to, even though he cooking, you might risk you might risk leaving him in there too long, maybe possibly getting injured or whatever. I guess it's taking your team out of their normal substitution flows and bringing this person in. But sometimes you do got to go with the flow of the game. I think you got to be agile enough as a coach to go with the flow of the game and let it do what it's going to do sometimes, especially when you got as top heavy as the Sixers, where you can afford to leave a Maxey on the bench a little bit longer, or if Harden cooking, then you could, once he cools down, you can leave him on the bench a little bit longer to get his rest.
So y'all okay with 2 points for Toby after the half? That's okay?
No, it's not okay. But Ethan, all right, I'm addressing both, because Ethan saying, well, Harden only took 11 shots. He actually took 16 shots or 15 shots if you add how many times he went to the free throw line.
Well, the free throws, that was in the first half, though. I don't think he got. Did he? He might have got like
one free throw. He got 2 free throws in the second half. I think he scored 2 points in the second half.
I think it was a little more.
He didn't score in the third quarter at all. I can actually check right now.
He went to the free throw line in the fourth quarter, I think, at least
while
twice.
While y'all talking, I'll go right through.
Go ahead and check. But I mean, I'm just saying.
My main thing about the whole Toby thing that Tim is making a point of, my whole thing about that is, if he's been struggling to fit in and find his role. He just had a decent game. He's had a couple decent games, and he's cooking now. You do not take him out when he's cooking the other team's bench. You ride that out until he ain't got no more gas, and then you put Bede and Harden back in. That was a horrible coaching switch.
He didn't take Toby didn't come out at that time. He stayed in.
He did come out. Well, if he didn't come out, you put Bede and them in there, and Bede, and you're going to go to Bede and Harden to control the ball. And in the third quarter, the Sixers was making a concerted effort to go to Maxey. He just was off. Now it was some of the same shots that he'd been hitting, but they made a concerted effort that they were trying to get Maxey in the flow.
Then Maxey scored 10 points in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's what I said. I just said they made a concerted effort to go to him.
And
Harden had 2 points in the fourth quarter, 2 free throws.
I thought it was more than that.
And that was at the 10-minute mark.
You said
he's shooting that later than that? You got to scroll through your John. I don't know. But maybe he did, I guess. I thought he would score another free throw later on in the fourth than that. But
hey, man, you know why I don't criticize Toby the same way I criticize Harden? Because Harden had the ball in his hands. Harden had control of the ball. Harden can dictate who's getting those shots. That's why I'm not putting as much on Toby as I am on Harden in the second half.
Yeah, to me, Maxey had more opportunities.
Man, Toby was trash the second half.
No, he was. I'm not trying to bail him out, but I don't remember all of Toby's opportunities. Sometimes you don't have the opportunities like that, and you pass it to a person who has a better look. Maxey has some. This is why y'all know I'm a big Maxey fan. I still think he's right there with Harden as the second or third best player any given day. Obviously, Bede is the main dude. But Maxey had opportunities. Even that layup, even that shot toward the end, Ethan, that you said how he missed that, he was right there. Now, whether that shot would have made a difference or not, I don't know. But he had opportunities. He had threes that was open that he missed. He had layups that he went to the hole and he missed. He had floaters that he.
But see, this is my thing.
He had
opportunities because Harden kept passing up his.
But that's what I'm saying. But sometimes you pass opportunities for a better one. Maxey looks wasn't bad at all. This is stuff he normally score on.
Harden wasn't always passing up for better looks.
Maxey, how many look bad?
If you notice, sometimes in a couple plays, correct me if I'm wrong. Harden gave it to Maxey. Maxey gave back to Harden. Do you know what Harden did? He gave it right back to Maxey.
He gave it back to Maxey. I know. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Maybe his hamstring. Maybe he wasn't feeling it. Maybe he's trying to, like you said. See, sometimes players do. What you said might make. Now I'm thinking on it. You have a point with that. Sometimes players do try to make a point. Sometimes not to say, look at this, it ain't gonna work. But look, I'm gonna try it. Now, if it don't work, then I can come back to you and be like, look, bro, I tried it 2-3 days. Yeah, exactly. It ain't work. Now let's start doing it how I normally like to do it and see how that works. I mean, it could be some of that too.
If it's a matter of his hamstring, then does it go back to Doc again? Like I said, in the second quarter, you did not need to bring him back in that soon. If your bench is cooking, you ain't got to force him back in there. I'm sorry. This game is Doc and Harden to me.
I can't blame Doc too much. I can't blame Doc.
I know it's like you put more blame on Doc when the players.
No. I'm putting more blame on Harden because he's supposed to be another superstar and he turtled up. But I'm putting a lot of it on Doc because I think Doc did not help. When you're going against the best team in the NBA, the team that's been playing better than anybody else by far this year for the complete year, and you're going against them, you win games like that when you do smart things here and there, little plays you got to do. That's how you beat those teams. And to me, Doc did his team a disservice the way he ran his rotation tonight.
And
the fact that he put Maxey on Booker. Why is Maxey having sticking Booker?
All right, and to counter that, I say that the way Tobias took his shots, he didn't wait for him to come first half. He took his shots because everybody said the ball wasn't getting to him. He demanded the ball and he got it. He did not do that in the second half.
Who wasn't in the game when he was doing that?
And as a result,
Mikel Bridges.
Embiid wasn't in the game, and he had clear lane to go do what he wanted to do.
But who was the defenders on him too? Because remember, he scored most of the points against the bench. Was it Mikel Bridges? Was it Ayton? In the lane?
They ran that lineup. They still ran that lineup in the second half. And
hold. Toby went at Bridges a couple times. Toby was posting a lot of those guys. Those guys was undersized, and Toby took them down in the post, bodied them.
But Bridges ain't undersized as regards height for height, pound for pound, maybe.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Pound wise, he is, and Toby took him in the post.
But all I'm saying is
second half. If you give me 17 points in the first half, I should at least be able to get.
First of all, Toby ain't never give you 17 points both halves. You ain't never going to see that.
That's what I said. I should at least get 10.
So be happy with the 17 he gave you throughout the game. Be happy with the 17.
You're playing a powerhouse team.
No,
stay aggressive.
No, my thing is, I hear you with this. I hear you. But with this team, first of all, like I said, I'm not even sure of the matchups he was facing and all the looks that he had in the second half. Sometimes you don't have the looks that you had against the bench players when the starters come back in and you see that Maxey got a better opportunity. Maxey had looks all throughout the game. This is a game where Maxey and Harden and me got dominated the game. We already realized Toby is the fourth, sometimes fifth best player on his team. If I get 17 from Toby, I'm straight. To me, Toby 17 is like a bench player 17. It's like a 17 you almost didn't expect. He shot, I think, 50% from the field. He gave you 17 points. I'm actually fine with that. That's where the other dudes, he did his job. The first half got us a nice 12 to 14 point lead. We need when he got the game, we lost the lead because Harden's and Maxey wasn't hitting consistently. At least Maxey not consistently like he should have been. That's all I'm saying.
I think Harden had like 3 turnovers in a row too. Again,
I think we all agree that Harden stunk it up. We all agree that Harden didn't play well today. But what I'm saying is,
Tim, Kyrie shooting 2 for 13 tonight too.
I mean, he'd be back. Wait, that's a game.
He shot 4 for 11. He shot 4 for 11 his last game. He's 2 for 13 tonight. I just thought you might like to know that.
Here's the point I'm making.
Yes, William Conway.
Prime matchup. This is a potential NBA Finals matchup. It's not just one player. Embiid shows up every night. Harden and everybody else got to show up too. That's what I'm saying. You can't show up for half of the game and think that's okay, and then wonder why we lost. So we're gonna just blame everything on Harden and Doc.
So is Toby B? So you putting Toby on B level? Are you putting Toby on Harden's level? Are you putting Toby on Maxey's level?
Yes.
Hey, man, listen. The reason why you saying about this about passing Toby, we've all been in here talking about how our big three was Maxey, Harden, and Embiid. So that being said, if you give me Tobias his points that he gave us tonight, the 17 points, if Maxey gives us what he's been giving us, and Harden gives us what he's been giving us, then that's a bonus. That's a bonus if we get him.
You're not paying $180 million for a bonus.
I don't care what he's getting.
You stuck on. That's what you stuck on.
His money.
$180
stuck on the money.
You're stuck on the money. We're talking about
$180 million.
You're stuck on his money. We're not talking about the money.
Nope.
Come to the realization of who he is. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like when everybody was all hype about. They thought Iggy was going to be the next AI, and Bulls couldn't stand Andre. They couldn't stand Andre Iguodala because they assumed that he was going to be the next franchise player. That's not who he is. He was who he was. We got to realize. I don't care if they was paying Toby Patrick Mahomes money. He is who he is. This is the problem. So I'm not saying don't give me no more. Let the car. Don't think this is what I'm saying. Like, oh,
That's what it
that's all
sounded
you
like.
gotta
I'm
give me.
like, oh, there's no.
All I'm
Toby
saying,
did well this
listen,
term.
Tim, you
all I'm
hilarious.
saying is I understand your limitations. He's a what did he average for the year? Kobe averaged what? He averaged about 18 points a game for the year. He gave you 17. He gave me his average. Harden is averaging in the 20s, and he gave you 14. He didn't give me your average. Since Harden's got here, Maxey been in the 20s. He gave you 18. Give me your average.
Today from Tobias in the second half is not acceptable.
Tim, you cracked me up because you want to talk. You always talk about Toby's money, but you ain't talking about Ben's money and Ben being the number one.
Why are you still talking about Ben?
It is the same. You know why it's the same? Because Ben underperformed for the number one. I'm telling you why. Because you're not. Because you're being irrational because you don't like Tobias. When you like Ben Simmons underperformed as a number one draft pick. I accepted Ben for what he was. But other people, and I said people couldn't stand Ben because he was a number one draft pick. You're hating on Tobias because of the money he gets. But what he gets tonight was enough from his position as the fourth best player in the
team. If you're trying to win an NBA title, you need everybody to be performing at the highest level. I don't want it to be done at in one half of the game.
So how many guys on your team? How many guys on your team going to average 20 points a game, Tim?
How many guys?
No.
How many guys are going to give me 2 points in the second half?
You never heard it how sometimes somebody carry a team in the first half and then somebody else carries them in the second half? Remember how you was hyped? Remember how I used to be hyped about Jimmy when Jimmy was getting a couple buckets in the first half, or Jimmy ain't do nothing the whole first half, and then Jimmy hit a couple buckets down the stretch, and you're like, see, Jimmy the best player on the team. Jimmy wasn't scoring 20. Jimmy wasn't scoring 20 points.
What we got from Tobias in the second half is unacceptable. I don't care what y'all say. You can't give me 2 points and think that's okay. That's because you scored a lot of points in the first half. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, but
man, at least you're consistent.
When I look at somebody like Toby, I'm not dependent on him down the stretch to get buckets.
Yes, easy money. You're still a clown. Yes, you are. Because Maxey is still not the better player than Harden is right now. That's why Harden is carrying for the brunt.
Let Ethan go, Wayne. Let Ethan go. Go ahead.
If you have
he asked me like 3 times, so I'm gonna tell him yes, he is still a clown. Yes,
I saw it.
But you can continue to like and come in and follow.
If you want your players like Maxey, B, and Harden get your buckets in the clutch. So they wasn't getting buckets in the clutch. Toby is not somebody to depend on. He's like extra, right? He's if you swing it to the corner, you hit your 3, that's icing on the cake. You know what I mean? So, but that's not somebody I'm depending on to get the buckets. Because if you notice, he got points. Do all points matter? Yeah, but at some points in certain situations, more important than other situations. Yeah, but he's not part. Y'all keep trying to put him when he had one good game. Y'all try to put him in the big 3. He's not part of that big 3. He might not even be here next year.
He's not going to be here next year. Nobody will be here the way he's playing.
Hey, Charlie M. Nobody's disagreeing with Tim and saying that you would like more. Nobody's disagreeing. Tim is trying to heap, I think, more accountability on us losing this game on Toby than I would say. This is all I'm saying. If you break down this game and why we lost, my radar is hitting Toby 3rd or 4th down the line. It's starting with Harden, then it's going to Maxey. Then I'm actually, truth be told, I'm going with Danny Green and over whatchamacallit, over Toby, in my opinion. Danny Green.
But Doc in there, my players.
I can put Doc in there for that. Hold, let me finish. I'll let you finish.
Can I give you my order? Because you said you go.
All right, let me finish first. Let me finish, and then you got it. This is where I'm saying I disagree with you. I'm not saying I'm not saying he has zero culpability. I'm just saying I'm not ranking him as high as you because you keep trying to put him as one of the main factors why we lost.
Okay. And I'm going to say he's one of the main factors that we lost.
Go ahead.
We all agree Harden number 1. Harden is number 1.
Yes.
Number 2, I got to go with
Doc.
I'm going with Maxey number 2.
And the reason why here's why, because somebody mentioned in the chat. If you give me 15, 17 points, you got to at least give me 25 to 30. That's how you got to end the game. I need to get at least 10 points from you in the second half, just to show me that you still have a pulse. Maxey, regardless of the fact, Maxey struggled big time in the first half. But that second quarter, third quarter, he gave me 11 points.
Okay.
So
he did Tobias in reverse, and you saying Tobias is worse. So Maxey stunk it up
Maxey
the first
shot
half.
way
He
more
had 2 points.
Because
He had 2 points going into halftime, and he ended with 18. So he did what Toby did in reverse, yet it's more Toby fault than Maxey's. And Maxey shot worse from the field. Maxey shot 30%.
And let me tell you why. And
Maxey played way worse defense.
When everything was nice and everything was smooth, everybody eating bananas and apples and strawberries and everything, that's when Tobias was scoring all his points, looking all good. When we needed the buckets, when it was clutch time,
we didn't need the buckets in the first half.
I'm talking about when it was tied, when we was down, and we was down by like 6 or 7, and then Maxey cut it to 1 because he was balling. That's when
you want to keep it a bean? You want to keep it a bean? Maxey wasn't doing that till CP3 came out the game, and then Maxey scored like 5 or 6 points, and CP3 came back in, and you saw no more Maxey. So let's keep that a bean. Nope. He did it when CP3 came out the game.
Your $180 million.
He said when Debo say shut up, I shut up. When we need out around, I'll be talking again. That's what Maxey did.
Let's see.
Tobias came up. Actually, Tobias actually balled the last couple of games, Carter. This is where I mean, like I'm saying, Tobias stats was he had 17 points and shot 57% from the field, almost 60% from the field, 57% from the field. He actually shot higher from 2 because he was 1 for 5 from 3. So if you actually take away his 3-point percentages, he was what 8 or 7 for like 1 for 5. What's that? 7 for 10. He was 70%. From inside the 3. So he actually had a good game. The reason why I put more blame on Maxey in turn was 7 for 21, 33%. And had only 1 more point than Toby. This is why I put more on Maxey. And Maxey had the looks. I'm not even always sure about the looks that Toby had in the second half. I really wasn't paying that much attention, to be honest with you. I was more looking at Maxey, who is the third wheel to the tricycle of the big 3. He's the third ball. So I need more than that.
That's why I see the third ball, because the fourth ball that's supposed to be the third ball
he's not the third ball no more though. He's the fourth ball.
But we already know that. But we already know that. Like we said, if we're ripping Toby and saying he's the 4th best player, this, that, and the other, then that's what he is. So if you're telling me this is what you're expecting from, this is what he is, and he's trash, this, that, and other, so now you're mad at him because he's living up to what you said he was?
No, because if you get me hyped thinking you're gonna be doing all the scoring, think that he actually.
Why would you be hyped? Why would you be hyped? He was gonna do all the scoring.
Wayne got he was in the chat. He was having all the big old eyes popping out. Oh, Tobias, he was all hyped, singing his praises. But then
that's why you getting on here.
Yeah,
that's why you getting on here. Because Wayne was giving Toby props, and you mad about that? He balled.
Was I? I thought somebody else. I thought Ephraim came in and giving Toby props before I did.
No, you was hyping Toby, and in the second half, Toby.
I don't think I was.
Listen, I think all around that starting 5 is just maybe it might be a little more talented than we are, man. That's all. I mean,
B is better than Ayton, but Ayton got skills.
Oh, you the same person said Ayton was better than Skills. Shut up, Tim. Remember when Tim said Ayton was better than B?
I already acknowledged.
No. You acknowledge that in the chat.
Acknowledge my faults, and I understand why you bringing up old stuff anyway.
Hey, J. Carr, I agree with you. At least he was shooting. I am glad Maxey was shooting. That's what I'm just saying. And I think you said it earlier. Somebody said it earlier. Everybody deserves an off night. I'm not hating on Maxey. If we're analyzing the game as to why we lost, I'm telling you why we lost. So people act like, well, y'all making excuses for Harden. This is happening. I'm not making excuses for Harden. I'm not making excuses for Maxey. Remember, they did that to me and Wayne when we was talking about Bede, and I think Ethan too. Well, Ethan was taking a little bit, but they was like, y'all making excuses, especially with emos on here. Y'all making excuses. No, I'm analyzing and saying why we lost. We lost this game because Maxey was off, Harden was off, and passive was the main, and Doc possible with the substitution that could have changed the tide of the game if he had kept that bench a little bit longer. But to me, the top 2 reasons was Maxey and Harden as to why we lost tonight. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be our fault losing going forward, and they've been the main reason why we've been winning. So I'm not hating, but tonight they were just off.
Listen, even though how y'all feel about this team? We didn't get blown out.
I
We
agree.
didn't get blown out, but does this give you a little more promise for us winning in the East?
I'll tell you after we play Milwaukee on
I
Tuesday.
said I'm waiting for Tuesday. Tuesday will let me know everything.
And for the record, all I said all night about Toby was Toby hooping, and Tim saying I'm joining him up. All I said was Toby hooping.
That sound like
and he was.
No, Ethan
And
did
he
the big
was at
guys
that
to
time.
Wayne. Ethan tempting about what Ethan did the big guys to Wayne about Maxi. When Maxi hit a couple shots in the third.
Yeah.
I think Ethan started
Because I said Maxi was struggling. I said Maxi was struggling. And when Maxi hit a couple shots, some people started posting stuff coming at me.
Some people say his name. Don't be passive aggressive. Who some people? Say his name. He right on my screen. He right here.
I'm not petty like that. I don't have to say that.
Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are.
I know. You
petty.
yes, you
Petty.
Of all the guys that's on the screen right now, that you want to define petty, is Wayne.
I don't know what y'all talking about. All I just sometimes sarcastically say was obvious is.
All right. So Ethan, if you had to put a blame, what's your top three? Who are you blaming for this loss?
Harden. Y'all gonna be surprised at this one though. Harden, Doc, and Thibault. Thibault to me, if you're a defensive stopper, first of all you can't pick up 4 fouls like that. You're home
cooking.
You got one job, and that's to be a defender. You're out there strictly to stick the either CP3 or Booker and make it hard for him. You picking up 4 fouls like that is just smart. Sometimes he sticks his hand in the cookie jar too much though. If you watch Thibault, and he got caught tonight. He got caught, and he irked me missing him.
That's why I would have rather him being on Booker instead of having him on.
He was in foul trouble.
But he wasn't in foul trouble from the jump. He was not sticking.
Yeah, he was.
No, he was not. Maxi was on Booker, bro. Go back and look at the first few shots. They came out in the straight up set, and it was Maxi guarding Booker.
I think Thibault had 4 fouls before half.
Go ahead, Sergeant Bass. What's your question?
I'm telling you, Thibault had 4 fouls. I think before halftime.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I think he did because he only had played 15 minutes all night. So
John Adley, get out of here. You must be a Phoenix fan. But there's no way Booker's the MVP. And I said he deserves some consideration. I said he deserves some consideration, but he's not the MVP.
If you're the best player on the best team,
Mike Scott, you a Suns fan? He said, "Let's go Suns."
Yeah, he is Suns fan. Yeah, he was hurt. He was hurt last year. He was hurt.
Sergeant Bass said, "If we see Suns in a 7-game series, are we winning?" I mean, as a Philly fan, I'm gonna always say I think we got a chance. I honestly think it's only 2 teams. It's only 2 teams in the league that can stop this Phoenix team right now, and that's a fully healthy Golden State and possibly a fully healthy Memphis team. I don't even think Milwaukee, maybe a fully healthy Nets team if Kyrie and KD go completely off if they happen to meet them.
Hold
on. But I honestly think it's only about 3 teams.
I think it's funny about it. I think it's funny about a 7-game series is we see teams do what they have to do to stop Embiid for 1 game. It's a little bit different trying to do that for a series. That could be on the other side too, whereas though Embiid could get wore down too. But what I'm saying is the energy that people have to expound to guard Embiid and stop Embiid in 1 game in a 7-game series, that could go either way. Either Embiid could wear them down, or they could wear Embiid down.
I agree.
I think Milwaukee will beat them again in a 7-game series. First of all, Phoenix is bringing the same team back. Milwaukee actually got a little more deeper. They got a little deeper. Remember, they was up 2-0 and won 4 straight, right?
But you think Milwaukee got deeper? Why do you think they got deeper?
They picked up a couple more players.
They lost some too, though.
Who did they lose?
Didn't they lose DiVincenzo?
They used the boy that had 30 minutes and 0 points. They lost him, right?
Who? PJ Tucker? PJ Tucker wasn't a big part of them winning?
PJ Tucker.
His defense is nice. And Lopez is still recovering from back.
The reason why I say Phoenix, I think, because Phoenix went in last year as a little bit younger team and their younger players got better, especially Mikal Bridges. He's actually made a huge leap from where he was last year to this year in offense and defense. And you got another extra year under your belt with Chris Paul, which fuels the camaraderie. They running on all cylinders right now. All their young players, the boy Johnson and all them dudes got better and got more experience from last year. And I think if they see Milwaukee or anybody in the finals, I think they win it.
But
I agree with you.
No
Here's
answer for
another. Here's
Giannis.
another reason why I'm not blaming Doc too much for the. Or I'm not giving them all the blame because Devin Booker was killing us in that first quarter. He scored 22 points. He finished with 35 points
because Doc put Maxey on him.
He only averaged 4 points a quarter after that explosive first quarter. They
because he
started
took Maxey off of him.
Everybody on him. Like, so when he got the ball, they rolled all the coverage that way. Doc, so he made adjustments within the game. What it was,
but he started the game stupid and put Maxey on him to start the game.
No, but that's what I said. But he made the adjustments in the end of the quarter. After that 22, he made those adjustments. The only thing that was missing was Tobias stopped scoring.
The only thing that bothers me a little bit about the Sixers team is, and maybe I understand why Harden's passing the ball, because it's hard when you got two players on your team where the ball sticks. You know what I mean? Like if you watch Harden and B, all right, let's take Kyrie and Durant for example. Even though the ball may stick, they still put pressure on the D. Like they'll dribble, they'll put pressure. Harden and B sometimes the ball when the ball sticks, yeah, it just stops. Everything stops. You know, B pump faking hard, pump faking. So I could see Harden passing the ball so that it won't slow the offense down a little bit. But I guess that's all on Doc.
I would agree with you, except for the fact that they do make passes. I mean, Maxey shot how many shots? Maxey got shot attempts. I mean, guys got shot attempts. It's just if they're not hitting. You know, so I don't think I do think I agree with you at times the ball does get stuck like that, but I mean, they do swing the ball. These guys have opportunities. They threw the ball out there to Niang a couple times, and as soon as they closed out on him, he drove in because he, you know, they did the same thing.
Had 3 shots.
They ran right because they ran Niang and they ran Danny off the 3-point line and made them run inside. They swung it. So that's what I'm saying. They did swing the ball to him, but at what point? At some point, your stars got to shoot the ball, because if these guys can't get their shots, then you know that's why you hope for Maxey to have the kind of games we've seen him have.
I mean, because he got 87 shots up and we got 89 shots up, so we got the shots up.
We got the shot. No, but I think I do agree with.
We shot 60% from the field in the first quarter. We actually shot 62. They shot 60.
They shot 60. Yeah,
that was and that was the difference in the rest of the game, because we end up dropping down. I'm not sure what we ended with. They ended with 50%. I think we ended in the 40s. But to Ethan's point earlier, I think Matt Harden is trying to find his sweet spot of creating for himself and also keeping the ball moving. Because at a certain, I think Doc is smart enough to know as a coach, you got Harden in there because what he does and what he has been doing. So you don't want to completely revamp his whole game in the 11th hour and try to get him to be Steph Curry, where you pass and run, pull up and shoot. You still want him to implement the ISO ball that he's comfortable with and effective with, but at the same time still be able to move the ball enough to keep beating the game and keep maxing the game. And this is the balance we're trying to strike before the playoffs start. So if we can, I still think we're the most dominant team. We won the most dominant team in the league.
Y'all looking in the chat? Y'all looking in the comments? The last comment.
Tobias actually best to win on Boogie. Took him.
The last comment that came in. That's the missus.
That's hilarious. I just peeped the name. I was reading the comment. I ain't see the name. But I mean, you know, we got some time. You know, it's coming down to the end. But we got to right the ship to get this thing. I am encouraged that we didn't go in there and get blown. This is what I said from the very beginning. As soon as we got on, Phoenix is a good team. So for us to go blow for blow like that in Phoenix, even with some suspect home cooking calls, we still was in there pretty much to the bitter end. I'm cool.
We went 2 or 3 on the West Coast road trip.
All right. Speaking of that West Coast road trip, what do y'all think about Daryl Morey and Ty Lue going back? Well,
I'm glad Daryl Morey clapped back. Ty Lue need to stop crying. Remember, he was the one that was hacking AI up all that in the finals that year. And Ty, stop crying. Like Morey said, Ty Lue, in case anybody missed it, Ty Lue said something about the Sixers getting all these foul calls and this, that, and the other. And Morey
top 10 if scoring without free throws.
And Morey basically told him, don't foul him and you won't get foul calls.
That's nice. I agree with Morey. Which we call Garland. Your boy Doc, not Doc.
That was who Tim wanted as a
Ty
coach.
Lue. Yeah, Ty Lue, girl.
I think
Ethan wanted Ty Lue too. Remember?
I think we actually would be better.
I didn't
off
want
with
Ty.
Lue.
I wanted some young.
Ty
Yeah,
Young.
Ethan
He
always
a
said
young coach.
No, Ethan always said he wanted like the young, maybe like a new name. My original choice for coach was the guy we just got out coached by tonight. I wanted him the minute that he was available. Yeah, the minute that the Sixers had him on the roster, and then I think they actually was going to have him as the coach, but then Embiid and Brand opened their fat mouths and said they wanted to give Brett another chance, and
I'm gonna tell you why I didn't want Doc. For one, after you lose a 3-1 lead, right? Instead of jumping right back, sometimes you become a better coach by sitting back and actually watching the game from a different point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hours later, he was with the Sixers.
Yeah, when you jump right back, you on a plane and you with another team, you don't have time to process your loss or what you even did wrong for the loss. So or you don't got time to look at your philosophy. Did I do this wrong? No, you right back coaching another team the same way you coached that team when y'all lost the 3-1 lead. That's my problem I had with Doc. Coming here, even older coaches, take a little time away from the game, a little time with your family. Sometimes you could watch. That's what the boy. Remember the old Eagles coach? And he came back with the Rams, won like 2 Super Bowls.
Dick Vermeil?
Huh?
Dick Vermeil.
Dick Vermeil.
Yeah, Dick Vermeil. Yeah, you take some time away from the game. He might take a long time than usual, but you take some time away from the game.
The only thing is, if you take some time off in the game, you might not get that opportunity back.
Doug Peterson coming back, he would have got opportunity. He'd have got opportunity.
I think Doc did. Doc got legend status in the game. I do think got opportunity, but I mean at the same time, you want them checks. I mean I can't be mad at him.
He was probably still in the contract. He's probably still in the contract with other.
So you getting a double check? Who don't want a double check? So this is what I'm talking about. So if another constructive place went to hire you.
Last year he coached the Sixers to the #1 seed in the league, and the only reason why we lost that second round in the playoffs, we know that it was a colossal meltdown by Joel Embiid and Devin. And then
what? Oh, who is the colossal meltdown by?
Somebody tell you to act right.
Hey, K1, give another comment.
You don't include Doc in that meltdown.
Shout out to K1. Give another comment. Him acting up. He acting up. K1.
That meltdown was nothing more than the 8 turnovers by the Embiid.
See, we going back to this. It's been a good show up until now.
But anyway, we about to get out. Ethan, you got something. I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's cool. I just wanted to give a shout out before I go. Shout out to my young boy LJ. That's what I'm rocking. I mean, he throwing out the hoodie, so I wanted to give a shout out to him. He probably watching, but his dad probably might be watching. So shout out to the young boy.
So we can see what it say.
It's a pedestrian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 2004. So he doing his thing. I wanted to represent the young boy. I like it. Actually, really nice hoodie. Good quality. I throw his try to throw his information maybe in the chat. We all want to holler at him, support the young boy.
I'm trying to figure out how you got one and Uncle Wayne ain't get one. We got to have
words. You ain't Uncle Wayne no more. I'm Uncle Ethan.
I guess not. I guess
not. So for everybody, you've been watching the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment.
Oh, by the way, Sergeant Bash, you're right. The Lakers are done. LeBron is having a monster year too, and they done. He actually scored 39 tonight. He's gonna win that scoring time.
All right,
but they
don't forget to hit the notification button. We're gonna catch you on the next podcast Tuesday. Milwaukee.